presenter is Donna, and I'm so excited to have her with us tonight. She's been just a true sister in the faith, and she's worn many hats in her life. But probably the most beautiful thing that I see about her is her love for Yahuah and his people and his children, whether they're young or old. She is a teacher of, she teaches children, and she has inspired me also in what she's doing. So I'm going to kind of let her go ahead and just take over the meeting tonight. But I did want to take a moment, if we could all just wave hello to all the sisters that are in the Idaho institution that will be watching this recording. If we could just unmute our mics and give them a big wave and a shalom. And maybe, Linda, do you have a shofar? And we can blow the shofar for them. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Welcome.
Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you, Linda. As we blow the shofar, it's the frequency of Yahuah that just from wherever you are, all around the world, that he is on our same frequency, and it's just such a blessing. And a blessing to have all of you gals in Idaho with us too. We know that you will richly be blessed with what's going to be happening tonight. So Donna, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, shalom, everyone. I'm so excited about it. I'm like so nervous too. I'm just so excited to be able to do this. And I have to say I'm so honored, really, because I'm so blessed to be part of this fellowship and to come to know so many of you. And I can't tell you how much has blessed my life. So I pray that this will encourage you. It will give you strength. It will provoke you to study more, and just to come to know yourselves better, and who we are in Yahuah, and as Melchizedek priest, and as his bride. So I'm going to share. Tamara, am I able to share my screen? You just go ahead and do it, or you have to.
Do you have that option on your computer right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead then.
Okay. All right. So, oh, no, wait. No, it says that you disabled the screen share.
Okay, hold on. Give me a minute. There you go. Okay, now you should be able to.
All right. Here we go. Okay. So, all right. Let me bring up the whole. Okay, so this evening, I'm going to move this up, we are going to be discussing Yahuah's design for women, what we were designed to do, and why we were designed to do it. And this is only part one. And I have to say right from the beginning that this is we're never, I don't think we're going to be able to cover everything that we would like to, even in 2 parts. But like I said, I hope that this will provoke you to study more and to get you to think more and to really understand who you are, who we are as women. Yahuah. So there are objectives for tonight and for the whole 2 weeks. We are hoping to gain a better understanding of how incredibly important and essential women are as Yahuah's daughters in Melchizedek priesthood, to understand the role of women in the home and in society, to begin to discover who we are. And notice that, to begin to discover who we are, to understand that this is a journey as Yahuah works in and through us as his perfect bride. So the biblical Hebraic view of women is radically different than the cultural view. And I think that most of us probably already know that there is a problem with translating the Hebrew words into English or any other language. And the Hebrew language is only written in consonants and it lacks punctuation. So this means that there are subtle differences in the meanings of the message that are often communicated and changes in the structure of the text. So most of the nuances are lost in translation. So in this slide you can see this is a chart of the Paleo Hebrew, which is the ancient Hebrew, which was written in or communicated in pictographs, much like the Egyptian hieroglyphics. And so you could see on the left where it says the name, that's actually their alphabet. You see Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and so forth. And then the pictograph is what actually they used, a picture to describe what it is that they were trying to communicate. And then the third is the meaning, or several meanings, as you can see. So word pictures reveal more about the Hebrew thinking behind the concepts, but the word pictures are never used in translations, right? So, but Yah's word can connect one thing to another in ways that we just can't imagine. It's just fascinating when we start to look and really dig deep. Years ago, I started to just, Yah just began to keep giving me this phrase over and over again, dig deeper, dig deeper, dig deeper. And that's when I came to understand more about his word, his name, his feasts, and then even going deeper in his word to back down to the Paleo Hebrew. So when we study the text about the creation of the woman, we have to look for some structural connections. So let's set the stage. In the beginning, in Genesis 1, we read that Yahuah made everything good, wonderful, right, and purposeful. And this is especially true about women, as we will see. And you can see all through Genesis 1, verse 4, 10, 12, 18, 21, 25, 31, that he says, and it was good, and it was good. So above all else, Yahuah created order. And this is a very important, very, very important point. The first chapter of Genesis sets a paradigm. You know, when we were, most of us who were in the Christian church, we learned things in a certain paradigm, in a certain way. And we're coming to find out and realizing that the Hebraic way is a whole completely different paradigm. So in language, the first appearance of a word is often critical in understanding the word. So the first word mentioned sets up the Genesis view from every other, it sets it apart from every other cosmology of the ancient world. And it's radically different. So Yahuah creates order as soon as he begins to speak. Remember his first words, light be. He creates order. And when we study the original text, we find an ordered existence that defines the great questions in life from a Hebraic biblical paradigm. And one of those questions is, what is the role of the woman? Why was she created? What she intended to accomplish? So what we learn from creation's story helps us to establish parameters for the rest of the biblical worldview. When Yahuah creates, he establishes peaceful harmony and divine design. And this pattern is repeated in creation of human beings. So as we look in Genesis 1, verses 26 and 27, we read, then Elohim said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. In Genesis 1:27, so Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim, he created him, male and female. This is a very important question and statement. So I want to just take a few seconds. I love to have discussion, and I'm going to jump back into this teaching, but I want to get your understanding and your take on this verse. So Yahuwah created man in his own image. In the image of Yahuwah, he created him, or Elohim, male and female, he created them. What do you think that that means? Can you share?
I have something that I love this understanding is that Yahuwah created Adam out of dirt, but he created Eve out of life. In other words, the life in Adam. And that is just so beautiful because I just think of how we are a part, we're a part of Yahuwah. We were created out of the life, not the dirt.
Yes. That's beautiful. Anyone else? What does it mean to be created in his image? What do you think?
Brooke has her hand raised.
Oh, I don't see it. Okay, Brooke, go ahead.
Hi, good to see you all.
Hey, Brooke.
So I had heard also about how when women were created, how Yahuwah created us out of Adam's side so that we could literally be helpmates working towards the same goal, that he didn't create us from his head so that he could be over us, or from, Adam's feet so that he could trample on us, but from his side so that we could, walk through life together as a team. And, obviously there's a headship, but also that, we were created in his image to just be a team, I think, working towards the same goal. So that's kind of an image that I think is neat.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Good. Anyone else?
I think too, to understand that, Yahweh created him, Adam and Eve, in his image, but he created Adam and Eve's children in man, the image of man. So his original intent was to he created them in spirit. I don't know that they had necessarily a flesh like we think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda from Florida, she has her hand raised.
What it says to me is that are equal in his sight, and they both are created to have the capacities to be like Yah in terms of those things that make us human, in terms of our minds and our way of thinking and doing things, to be more conformed to the image of Yah, that we don't have to be, as some organizations have us, second-class citizens when it comes to the men.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it means to me, that we're different, male and female, but we're both in his image, so able to be as much like him as humans can be.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Brenda. That's good. Yeah. Suzanne.
Hi, Donna.
Hi,
Shalom to
Suzanne.
you. Thank you for bringing this. Wow. I have no words because it's my favorite part of the scripture. And just like you, Yahuwah has drawn me to the Genesis, to the beginning of things. And really, there's so many words, so many avenues I can take this to because your question is so key. It's so important to understand what the role, or who Eve is and Adam is. And anyway, I guess what I want to say is this is an awesome subject, and it does bring about a revelation and a deeper, like you said, deeper dive, deeper waters of who we are. And I'm gonna and I just want to jump forward here. You're familiar with 1 Corinthians 11?
Okay.
This issue of a head covering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my mind was blown away. And, you know, it's a very controversial subject.
Mhm.
If I were to tell you that I had, based on my understanding of the story in creation, Yahuah has impressed a revelation about what 1 Corinthians 11 head covering issue is, and is far from what what's being taught out there about head covering. And it has something to do with the headship, with the story of Adam and Eve. And, it's just, I don't know where to begin, but it's an amazing stuff I'm excited to hear the rest. So.
Okay, so do you want to share that with us later, or?
Sure. Let me gather my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I look forward to hearing that. Is it Linda? Yahuah?
Hi.
Hi, Linda.
Well, I'm just thinking of the verse that Adam said, she's bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahusha was the second Adam. And the bride is taken from Yahusha. Hallelujah. He is the bone of heaven. So I see her as the bride. And we were created that way. Unfortunately, in the fall, it was destroyed.
Mm.
But I still see the loving kindness and long suffering of our Creator, because He is returning us back to our original, beautiful likeness of Him. And so anyway, that's what I saw.
Oh, good. Thank you, Linda. Jeannie?
You're muted, Jeannie.
Got to turn on my mute too. All right. I'm thinking the word created. I think that's what you're looking for, as to what that means, what he did, and it's when you make something and you create something, you're making it for a specific purpose. So it's not like just making something and having it. He's got an intention for that creation, and that's what I came up with.
Okay, yeah. Oh, it's all very good. Yes, Linda. Oh, Yahuah.
She's just raising her hand like
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm getting mixed up between the participants. Anyone else? All right. Well, I want to move on because we can have more discussion at the end too. So I'm going to go back to my screen. Yeah. And some of us have already touched on some of these things. So as we go through, again, we are just laying the groundwork for all of this. So these verses establish that both man and woman are equal, like somebody said, and they're both assigned dominion. And he orders so that both share equally. They're assigned and designed. Somebody said designed, right? Tasks. Okay, see if I can go forward here. There we go. All right. We just want to look very briefly about the different paradigms. So much of what we know and what we have learned come from the Greek viewpoint. And it's totally different, really, than the Hebraic outlook. In the Greek, it's a concept-oriented language. And it focuses on people, places, things. Those are nouns, right? Qualities, characteristics, attributes. And in the Greek, there's a separation between the mind, the body, and that should say soul, not soul. But in the Hebrew, it's an action-oriented, it's action-based language. And it focuses on the verbs, kind of like the flow of life. And in the Hebraic viewpoint, it's one whole person. It's not separate. So what it means to be created in Yahuwah's image might be more like what it means to be flowing water than what it means to be a chemical compound of hydrogen and oxygen. You can see the difference. It might be more about what we do rather than how we are made. So if we look at the words that are in that verse, in his image, there are actually two words, and they are Demuth and Selem. And they are often used for statue, shadow, or form. And it's interesting that the word Selem is a masculine noun and Demut is a feminine noun. Now they do have some other meanings, as if you do some more research, you can find there are other meanings, but they're common in that both of them can be used for likeness. And if you look on this slide, you can see if we break it down into we're looking at the word Demut, and that's the feminine noun. We break it down into the Paleo-Hebrew. We have the letter, the Daleth, which can be interpreted as path. And here we have the symbols that were used, and it actually goes from the early Hebrew, Middle Hebrew, and then a late Hebrew, modern Hebrew, and it shows you what it is in the Greek. So Daleth, Mem, which means chaos, Vav or nail, Ta, seal. So what is the similarity between Yahuah Elohim and humans? If we look at this and we break it down in the Paleo-Hebrew, it could mean path, chaos, nail, seal. And that could be put into the phrase, the path securing a covenant over chaos. Just think about that for a second. The path securing a covenant over chaos. Raquel, did you have something that you were, did you raise your hand?
So it's our job to bring chaos to put order in the chaos that our husbands are.
What was that?
We need to bring order to the chaos that is the lives of our husband.
Well, when you were all talking earlier, I was thinking just that. Wait till you hear what your job is.
Oh, mercy.
Now remember, this is that verse that applies to both men
and women. Okay.
So we're not at the just women yet.
Okay. So we're supposed to bring order to our chaos. Got it. Okay.
So yeah, we'll see as we go along. You know, Tamara, I can only see that 4 participants have raised their hands. I can't see who it is because of this.
If you click on, okay, that was Raquel, and then we have Linda from Iowa.
Okay, now I see them. Okay, I don't know which order they're going in. Okay, Linda.
Yes, I just wanted to say that the word path can also be word cycle, as in secular. So I like to say that this cycles, or the righteous cycles, securing a covenant over chaos.
Ah, now that's good. Thank you. Yes. All right. And then let's see who was next. Suzanne or Susan?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is this being recorded so I can go back and re-look at all this?
Yes, it is. So I'll attach it in the email, the next email I send out.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and then was CC Powell River, I'm sorry, I got your name.
Ingrid.
Who was that? Is it CC Powell River? Not hearing anyone.
Yeah, is that Ingrid?
Oh, Ingrid.
You're muted, Ingrid, if you want to speak. Do you know how to,
Okay.
there you go. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, so to be in Yah's likeness is to be the pathway or the means that guarantees life over destruction. Remember, so you see that the focus is on actions and not so much on essence. When we add the prefix and suffixes to this picture, I'm having trouble changing these. Why isn't it changing? There we go. It could mean allow the path that secures the covenant of guaranteed life over chaos. And how much more after what Yahushua has accomplished, that now as Melchizedek priests, we can be walking in. You know, being human means acting according to Yahweh's path of life. And it means standing against chaos. It means participating in a covenant guarantee, knowing what's permitted, what's not, and acting, not just thinking, not just saying, but acting accordingly. And I find this very interesting that any behavior that does not exhibit this is not even considered human behavior in the biblical context. So, you know, and I really I look at the way things are around us these days, and I see what's happening in the behavior that's happening. And you know, how much of it is really not even human behavior according to the biblical standards. And again, this is both for men and women, for all humans. So if we exhibit non-human behavior, we're not reflecting or exhibiting Yah's image. So this groundwork is really important to set the stage of who we are as women. So we look at Selem, which is the masculine name or noun. I'm going to move my thing out of the way here. If you look to the right of the word, you can see the pictograph and some meanings of it. Sadeh, man on side, desire or need. Lamed, authority, control. Mem there's that mem again, chaos. Another interesting thing I find is, and it's just a little aside, a fascinating study on Mitzrayim or Egypt, coming out of Egypt. And the word Mitzrayim actually has chaos. It means chaos in there, coming out of the chaos in the water. It's very interesting. So this second word for likeness is about transferred authority and order over what destroys. The picture, like we said, comes from the Sadeh, Lamed, and Mem. These pictures represent ideas of desire, authority, and chaos. Genesis proclaims Yah's authority over chaos. And this is, as his people, what we have in common with him. We have the ability to bring order to chaos and exercise authority over things. We reflect his divine image when we bring order to life in the house, the place Yah has provided for us to live. Now that can be a structural house, a home, but he's also talking about these temples, these houses where he abides, where his spirit abides. And this is the Genesis version of Luke 2:14, where it says, glory to Elohim, Yahuah in the highest, and peace on earth. Peace in Hebrew is ordered and harmonious. It's not like the Greek idea of absence of war. Remember, as long as we're acting and exhibiting actions similar to Yahuah, we exhibit his image. So human being is progress in the direction of righteousness. We are working towards actually becoming human, which is something that you can really, if you really sit and ponder, we are a work in progress. and we're working towards that completed state, right? So these verses alone that we were just talked about, those Genesis 1, 26 and 27, speak volumes about who we are both as women and men in Yahuah. Adam and Havah, or Eve, in the garden were to reflect Yah's activities in Genesis 1 by fulfilling the commission to subdue, rule over all the earth, be fruitful and multiply. So who are we when we do not reflect Yahuwah's actions or choices? We're something other than human. We talked about that, right? So when we begin to continue to lay down this groundwork of understanding who we are as women in Yahuah, it's like peeling the layers of an onion. Let's look at the words male and female. So as you can see on the slide, male, the Hebrew for male is zakar, and the paleo would be zayin kaf resh. It's a noun and it appears 82 times in scripture. And it's most likely derived from a root, which means to be sharp, pointed. The zakar has another word that's spelled exactly the same way, but it has a different meaning. And there's an interesting possible connection to Genesis account. As a verb, it means to remember. Is it possible that being in Yahuwah's image as a male, zakar, could be related to man's necessity to remember who Yahuwah is and how Yahuwah is related to men? Is part of the divine image remembering where they came from, whom they serve, and whom they depend on? To bring something to mind in order to act upon it. And for the word man, Hebrew has the two words, Adam, which is the person, Adam, or mankind, depending on the context. And the second is Ish. And somebody already mentioned this verse, Genesis 2:23, and Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man." So this is important that Ish and Isha, and I think in the next part too, we might talk a little bit about, because it's a play on words here, and it's actually a little humorous. Yahuah is humorous as well. So it has, it's to show oneself as a man, to be strong, to fix in the mind. So once again, man is connected to remembering. Adam was to remember what Yahuwah said and to do it. And this is what made him a man. Now, if you remember, the Hebrew word for male is zakar, and it's most likely derived from the root, which means to be sharp or pointed. But look at female. It's complementary. It's called a complementary opposition, as Hebrew nekovah comes from the verb that means to pierce. And this is obviously a sexual metaphor. It also means to designate, to curse, to single out, appoint as a leader. Could it be that the female, nekovah, is appointed to an office of distinction, carrying a special identity and bears the mark of that identity in her gender? So listen to that again. Appointed to an office of distinction, carrying a special identity. The verb construction of nekovah has a homophone, and that is, again, it's spelled the same, but it has a different meaning. A prepared setting for precious stones. You can see, read this in Ezekiel 28:13. The homophone of to pierce means a purposeful boundary, a designed setting. There seems to be no connection here, but there's one of the implied associations of the homophone, and it connects a female with a boundary. if Nekova is the pierced one, maybe the homophone suggests that she's also the boundary setter, the design setting for human dynamics. This word may point us toward the complementary roles of the female, appointed to a high office, revealing her identity, a conduit for all subsequent name-giving identity, and the one who maintains the boundaries. And we haven't even really delved into yet who we really are. But if we just focus on this part of us, my goodness, who we are in him, that we are created in his image, and then as women, as a prepared setting for precious stones. We are appointed as leaders to a high office, and we are the conduit for all of the name-giving identities of those who come through us and who maintain the boundaries. That should blow our mind in itself. So let's just look at this quickly. The interrelationship of the words suggests the following. Human being is a verb, not a noun, and it's reflecting Yahuah's actions. Both male and female are necessary complements of what it means to be human. Masculine and female genders are needed to comprise the entity known as man. Male and female equally receive the prime directive to subdue, rule over all the earth, and to be fruitful and multiply. No hierarchy or subordination is implied in the divine command. The male may be connected to the idea of remembering the place of man, the authority and sovereignty of Elohim, and the action obligations. The female is described not only as the one whose very existence supplies a name for all who come after her, but also as the one who is specifically designed and equipped for a high office or royal appointment. And the female may be connected to the idea of protecting boundaries. So, how do we apply this teaching? Man created as male and female reflects Yahuah's order. To experience true humanness, my life needs to reflect his actions and order. Being human is a verb and not a noun. Being human is being like the order-making Elohim. My life needs to exhibit order-making in the world that follows Yahuah's patterns. Man, both male and female, expresses what it means to be human by doing what protects and continues life in harmony with the will of the Creator. My unique sexuality equips me to perform these roles. I must work toward the prime directive, to be fruitful, to increase, to act as Yahuah's regents, to steward the earth, to act with designated authority. Biology is not enough to make me human. I must act in harmony with Yahuah's creation. Where my life exhibits or endorses chaos, disharmony, or life-threatening behavior, I'm not acting as a human being. And this is easy. These things are easy to read, but as we all know, as we come into different circumstances in our lives, putting these things into action, especially when we are thrown off guard maybe, or it's coming in our face and we don't have time to think, becomes difficult at times. Male and female are equally responsible and equally enabled to carry out this task. They are interdependent without hierarchy. There are no excuses for independent action or exclusion. Human being is a process, not a state of existence. We are truly a work in progress. So I just wanted to give you, again, just a little background, a little setting of the stage before we delve deeper into, more specifics about who we are. So what's next? I hope to talk about us as both friend and enemy. We'll see what that means, especially for those of you, those women who are married. We're going to talk a little bit about woman as Isha and what that means, and Hava or Eve as the Ezer Kenegdo, or the suitable helper. And I want to encourage you that if you, because again, this is, the two times that we gather and talk about this and learn more about ourselves, it's just not going to be enough time. But if you're really interested, a really good book to read, and this is, I've read it several times now, and I know maybe some of you have read, is Skip Moen's book, Guardian Angel, What You Must Know About God's Design for Women, is an excellent book. So if you're interested in following along, or even, really going, he really goes into depth and breaks down a lot about, and it's just amazing because, before I read this and really dug deeper, I really didn't know who I was in him. And, if we can really start to grasp who we are as women, as his daughters, we can cause so much change around us. He's put us in our own circles, in our own circumstances, but we have to begin with ourselves. This is our land right now. This is who he's given us. This is who we are. And to be encouraged, who he made us. He says we walk in his authority. We walk in his authority. And what does that mean? Like, maybe we can talk about that, I think we forget about it. I think we do. We get so beat down. We're so tired. We're doing so many things. We're juggling so many things. We're wearing so many hats that we forget who we are, that we do have authority in this realm. We have authority. And that we really were created special. We are special in his eyes and to each other. So I hope this gives you a little bit of a groundwork. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you can also please, I learned so much from all of you that, to add on to this, because again, it's just a basic outline and it's just a groundwork for us to begin. So thank you for letting me share a little bit.
Yeah. Suzanne?
Tamara, can you tell I'm excited? Just a little bit. I'm trying to contain myself.
I'm excited for Suzanne.
Hallelujah. All right. Okay. I'm going to try to compose myself. So let's praise Yahuah. I'm telling you, I was taking notes. And I love the last thing you said, that we are to walk in authority. So I guess just to compose my thoughts and not be all over the place, I had mentioned earlier that, like you said, this understanding of this, the narrative in the Garden of Eden is key to understanding who we are. So I'm just going to throw a couple things at you, and then you guys can do your own research, because I love just, getting you to, provoking you to thoughts. So basically this is, so if we want to read, if you have your scripture, you turn to 1 Corinthians 11:3. Right? Now, as we're reading that, right? As we're going to read that, there's a couple things that we need to keep in mind, right? Mm-hmm. So 1 Thessalonians 5:23, it says, now may the Yahuah of peace himself sanctify you completely. May your whole spirit, soul, and body we preserve blameless at the coming of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, right?
Mhm.
So the way I see the narrative in the garden is that, and again, I'm just going to throw it out there and do your own research. This is so far what I've come to, that Adam is a type of our spirit. So in other words, we are a three-part being, right? And Eve is a typology of our soul. And our flesh, I'm not going to go there yet. You can probably think of who that will be. But so if we go to, when we read 1 Corinthians 11, and just a little bit of, just to understand where my heart is at when it comes to this specific chapter, this is a huge, release from Yahuah when he gave me this understanding. And the reason is because of the head covering issue, my older brother and his marriage dissolved in less than a year.
Oh, wow.
Because of the lack of understanding. And I have such a heart for my brother, and I just didn't take it very well to see him have to go through the sufferings of that. But just think about that, because of the issue of the head covering.
Mm.
You know, marriages, relationships scarred and severed. So, you know, so I want to give you the nutshell, and then because as you were presenting, a lot of what you said actually matched or confirmed my understanding. So I'm going to say the blanket statement, and then we read it together and see if you see the same for yourself. Okay, so the blanket statement is, Yahusha, we know, is the head of the body, right? We know that, no question. And the head of man, so Yahusha is the head of man, right? Or Adam, right?
Mhm.
But Adam is the covering for Eve. So, you know, and at the same time, Paul says in Romans 5, I think, he says Adam is a type of him who was to come. So in other words, Adam is also a type of Messiah. Just the typology, right?
Right.
Right? So if we look at that, and again, going back to what I said, Adam is a type of our spirit, right? So looking at that, then we can say that, you know, since Adam is a covering for Eve, then this is sort of the spirit ruling over the soul. So this is really walking in authority of our spirit in a sense, because Yahuah seeks after those who will worship him in spirit and in truth. It doesn't say soul, right? It says spirit and truth. And, you know, Eve, or the soul, needs to be subjected to the spirit so that she will not fulfill the lust of her flesh, being the weaker vessel. But here's the beautiful thing about it. At the same time, though, Eve is Adam's way of expressing himself, or the soul is the means to express the giftings in the spirit. Does that make sense, what I just said?
Say that again. Say it again. Eve is the way of
So Eve,
Okay.
so you know how we said Adam is so Yahusha is the covering of man.
Right.
Man, or Adam, is the covering for Eve, or the woman.
Okay.
Because I'm saying that Adam is a type of spirit, soul, Eve is a type of soul. But at the same time, Eve is also Adam's way of expressing himself. Or what I mean, or in other words, our souls is our the means for our spirit to express itself. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, it probably won't right now, but now if we read 1 Corinthians 11:3, see if you see the same, okay? If you're there,
Yeah.
okay, but I want you to know that the head of every man is Mashiach, right? The head of woman is man. See, those are my words, right? And the head of Mashiach is Yahuah. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonors his head, which makes sense, because if you are covered by a different Messiah, like a false Messiah, then you're dishonoring your head, right? Every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head. For that is one and the same as if her head were shaved. So in other words, the woman, she can, or the soul cannot go around and being soulish. She has to be subjected, the soul has to be subjected to the spirit, right? Because that is the way Yahuah has designed it, that the spirit should rule over the soul and the soul is to rule over the flesh. So now if we go on, for if a woman is not covered, let her also be like shaven, right? Next verse. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, since he is the image and glory of Yahuah. You know, see that image and glory of Yahuah. You can see subtly that it's connecting to the Genesis, right?
Yeah.
And another term for image, like another definition for image, is also it's empty. Did you see that? Another definition, Strong's definition for image is
Empty?
Yeah. So in other words, you can be filled by the spirit of Yahuah, the Most High, or you can also be filled with the spirit of something else, right? I just thought I'd throw that out. So again, since he is the image and glory of Yahuah, but woman is the glory of man. You see that? Woman is the glory. So what I was saying is man expresses himself through woman, right? And you said that in one of your slides, you said appointed to a high office revealing her identity, a conduit for all subsequent name-giving identity and the one who maintains the boundaries. You see that? So if you look at Adam, he's the one who named, like before Eve came out of him, he was naming the animals. I like what you just said, right? And then so you keep reading and you're gonna see that for this, but man is not from woman, but woman from man. You see? So for this reason, and then you keep going, and it talks about that equality that you were talking about, because all of them come from Yahuah. But, there's so much more to the story than meets the eye. And I would love to compare notes with you, Donna.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just always found that the more you dig, the deeper you go, the deeper you have to go, the more you go. It's just like I said, so many layers. It's really amazing. Thank you, Suzanne. I'm going to ponder this, because it really is so much. It's like, good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, Linda Demas.
Yes. I was listening to, of course, what Donna said and what Suzanne said. And Adam is a type of Messiah. Adam is the covering of Eve. Eve is Adam's expression. And I was thinking that has to be the way that the Ruach is the expression of Yahuah and Yahusha HaMashiach. Because it wasn't until Yahusha came that he said, I will send you the Comforter. And who is the Comforter?
That's beautiful.
It's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful.
Hallelujah.
That's awesome.
But just as woman is the glory of man, the Ruach is the glory of Yahusha. So I just think that's amazing, because think about it. I mean, we don't have men's strength. Somebody comes to get us, they have to go through our husband first. But, and while we are weaker, I think we're more mentally, in a lot of ways, stronger than men, because we are used to dealing with the little details. So we're like the last defense before they can get to our children. And that's why we have claws, Women, in my experience, are the ones that will go to the jugular before they will let you get to the children. And that is our mission in life, to protect Yahuah's people, to protect our children. So we cannot walk around masked. We are not of this world. We are of Yahuah, and we do not wear masks. You know, I sent out a video all over the place today. But it was just talking about that, and it was giving the scripture in 2 Corinthians where it was talking about when man is being evil, that you don't follow man, you follow Yahuah. But I'll have to get that scripture for you later. But thank you for Suzanne and Donna for that revelation. I just think it's very beautiful.
You just reminded me of the verse, and I don't know where it is now, but it just, like, as you were saying, protector, I remember that verse that says about the woman will encircle the man. Does anybody remember? You remember that, Suzanne, where that is? It's a prophetic statement. It's just.
Of course she remembers. Look at her, she's jumping at the bit.
Yes, sirree.
I have it, hold on. Psalms 22.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or,
Is that it? What does it say?
oh, sorry, Psalms 139:5. That, I don't know, like that I love that, the verse that you encircle me, because that's part of my notes, but I don't know if that's what you mean.
I don't know if that's the one though. I'll find it.
There's also one in Jeremiah.
I think it's from Jeremiah, Linda.
Jeremiah 31:22.
21. Right. 31, 21, and 22.
31:22.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's like, yeah, because I know it was more like a
A woman will surround a man. This is a very much, oh, well, sorry.
Yeah.
That
That reminded me of that verse when you were saying that. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Let's see, Raquel.
Sorry, I was reading Jeremiah. I was trying to find it. But I thank you, Donna. Misty was just texting me. She's like, well, I've obviously forgotten my place in life, my role as women. And I was like, you're not the only one. So thank you for reminding us of our position, and just, you know, I've been looking at everything and all the crazy that's been going on outside, and wondering, how did we get here? How is it that we're acting like this? I don't understand. People that I've known for years, I mean, wait, what? And now I get it. We're not verb humans. Yep. When we're acting this way, when we're doing these things, and wow, just wow.
Sadly, right?
Yeah.
So many non-humans around, and really, you know, we have the Father's heart. It is sad. You know I went through all this. I went through this phase of being angry. Still, sometimes I have to go to the store or something, but then I just got to the point where I was like, just so sad, you know, and that's the Father's heart, because they're lost, you know, and it is very sad. And to see how you can't even say human beings treating other human beings, because it's not human behavior.
Right. And it's just really interesting just how this has all come out, and thank you for that insight. And also in regards to the head covering, I had been taught somewhere, and I don't know where along my journey, is that because we are his bride of our Messiah, we don't need the head covering because he is our head covering. And I don't know if that's right, but in what I'm reading in context now, I agree with that. But that's just me. Anywho, Thank you both, ladies. Thank you, Donna. Like, there's just so much more meat. I want you to keep going.
Yeah, there is.
Thank you. Linda from Iowa?
Oh, Donna, thank you, sister. Oh my goodness. I am never going to say the word human in the same way. You brought so much revelation, and it just got me thinking, you know, Satan knows all of this. He knows it all. He is dehumanizing Abba's bride. We can't let it happen. No. Anyway, thank you again for that. It's just an amazing teaching, and I look forward to more.
Thanks, Linda.
All right, Jeannie.
Yeah, right behind Sister Linda. Thank you so much, Donna. That was really awesome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think about what we were designed for and what you were saying in that. And if properly ordered, you know, the woman is there as its completion. It's a completion. It's two characteristics of Abba Yahuah that is put together that makes a whole. And Hasatan has distorted it. And we know that from the garden, it said that she would desire a husband. And I don't think it was sexually. I think it was more of a positional place. That's where you get all these women now wanting to have power over men. And I always go back to, I just think of Sukkot of last year and watching, I'm going to say this with tears in my eyes, watching the two Tamras with their husbands and how the support of them and how the men could function and do everything they needed to do with that thing. But these women were behind the scenes doing just all those things to just support them. And so when you see it, and how he's designed us, and what it's not about us losing our identity. It's just this completion that happens when we go into that order of that designing. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And I just thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you, Jeannie. Yeah.
Brenda from Florida, did you have your hand raised?
I had raised my hand, but then I put my hand down because I realized that, you know, I got on at about 8:20, so I probably missed some of the beginning. And so I wasn't totally sure if I, you know, missed some key points that might have informed me a little bit more. But as I was listening, part of what came to my mind was, okay, at the end of the day, how do we translate all of this in terms of our daily walk and our relationship with Yah? Someone said something about, you know, our role, our mission or something is in our relationship with our husbands and our children. And myself, since I don't have a husband, I can't see my existence being wrapped up in my role and my responsibility, my relationship to my husband. And since I don't have children, I can't think of in terms of my purpose and my duty and my direction in relation to my children. And I was thinking in terms of, even though we're male and female, and even though I'm sure I'm aware that women have different characteristics and, you know, than men. And, you know, I would imagine in a marriage relationship, the male and female in a good, proper relationship ordered under Yah and with Yah in the mix, they can properly complement and help each other in this life. But at the end of the day, it's an individual relationship that we have with Yah, in the sense that I'm sure that he will evaluate us and reward us according to how well we have fulfilled our roles and responsibilities here on this earth. And that would include our relationships, whether they're with our husbands, our children, our sisters, our brothers, our friends, our neighbors, or the strangers that we come in contact with. But we're going to be, it's going to be an individual relationship, and we're going to stand before him as individuals. And I think at a time when we are, you know, especially in a time of trial, and who knows what is ahead of us. You know, our relationship as women before Yah, it's important that we have that strong relationship, because as some scriptures say, you know, it is those of our household that may really become those that we are against us, you know. And I imagine in many of your situations, if you're married and you're blessed to have a husband of the same faith, then that's a good thing. But even some married women may end up with husbands of different faiths and mindsets. And I don't know what is ahead, but if it is to come that at some point, you know, our stand with Yah is going to be maybe used against us, it may turn out to be that our husbands and our children are the ones that will be, you know, least understanding of our positions. Someone mentioned in relation to that head covering thing, I didn't really hear all of that, but sometimes I find that, and maybe more often than not, it is those of your household, those that are closest to you in your families, that would cause you more difficulty, harm, pain, opposition. So my mind was thinking along the lines of, okay, at the end of the day, maybe I understand more about what a woman's role or characteristics may be, but as it does say, we're all created in the image of Yah, and we're going to be individuals, and if my sex just happens to be female, that doesn't really change the fact that my relationship with Yah and my walk with him is what I need to be most concerned about, how I can strengthen and, you know, move in these last days with him. That's what I was going to say. And then I put my hand down because I thought, well, maybe all of that, maybe I missed some critical stuff at the point that may have, you know, changed my ideas. I don't know, my thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah. Donna, did you want to respond to that?
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm a single woman, right? You know, right now I have no husband, and I understand, you know, Yahweh, he says, you know, he's our husband, and yes, individually, we are, yes, he's going to look at each one of our works. And so, yeah, I mean, you had a lot of really good points in there, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I think too is that it's easy. Well, not easy. You know, it is all about our relationship. You know, I can say that just a testimony for me is that, you know, Mario really loved Yahuah. He really seeked him. And I realized after he was gone that how much I relied on Mario for spiritual guidance and for my relationship with Yahuah. And I actually now am reading more and seeking more, and I need to know him for myself. I mean, I've known him, but I feel like now it is more in an intimate way. And there were some sisters that shared with me that that now that Mario's gone, that relationship with Yahuah will be, you know, he'll fill that hole, and he is my husband. He's the one that will fill that. And so when I don't have anybody to talk to, that's who I talk to. And I'm looking forward to it actually more, to have that relationship deeper and stronger with him, with Yahuah. And I feel like that was just my own. I mean, not everyone's like that when they're married and they both have a relationship with with Yahuah. But on my own end, I see that I did not do my part. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm blessed that he did not give up on me. So I will seek his kingdom and his righteousness, and it will all be added unto me. I do believe that and have faith in that. So at the end of the day, I want to say that I am seeking his kingdom and his righteousness, so that he is my covering. He is what I need.
Yes. And yeah, Tamara, I want to say this for me, that's one of the things that when I think about if I ever was in a relationship again, or, had that opportunity to marry again, that's one of the things that I am concerned about, that because when you are by yourself, it becomes such a sweet time, and it's just such a closeness that I don't want to lose that. But there's so many times when you're by yourself and you're going through so many things and he's the only one. I went through a divorce almost like 18 years ago, and there was no one to talk with. There was no one to discuss things with, even though we were on different paths, I guess. But when you have no one in that position, in that role, and it becomes such a deep closeness. And I don't know, I'm just kind of babbling here, but I know that he's going to take you places that you have not been before.
Yeah.
And it is going to be the most beautiful time with Yahuah. It just can't be explained really in words, I don't think, and I'm not really good with that. But
Well, I just wanted to kind of beam here real quick, because to me there's no real safe place with or without a husband. You still need such a deep spiritual place with Yahuah. And to me, Tamara, I was just listening, I think it was to this latest parashah that Matthew did, I think it was Matot. But it was talking about how when a husband and wife are in such unison for so long, that the soul of the husband goes into her through the blood, which is like the semen or whatever. He went into soul ties, he went into all these different things. And to me, it's like when you become like one unit, and you and Maria, you had your hard times earlier on, and then you became really one. That's where you, I think, start depending on your strengths and your weaknesses. One takes over for the other here and there. And so now this is a time for you that's an adjustment. He will be all those things for you. It's just, to me, it's a very hard place. And for Donna, I'm the same place as you, Donna. I was 18 years ago, was divorced. And it's, I'm in total, in the same place as where you are. It's like, I would not want to give up my time that I have, that I'm very selfish about my time with Abba Yahuah and with Yahusha. But there could be somebody there that, like Mario, that it could be a really wonderful experience, and that you could have balance. But there's no safety. The only safety we have is in him.
Right. And I know that the relationship that Maria and I had together, it was very beautiful. I would, of course, always treasure that. But it is us with Yahuah. I can remember, I don't want to, like those ladies that are married and that do have husbands that are, also following Yahuah. And we all need balance, and we need to have, when we're before Yahuah, Mario's not going to be with me. It's going to be me before Yahuah, and that's what I have to know. But I treasure that beautiful time that we had together, praying and studying and serving Yah, as a couple. Those are treasured moments also. But we just don't need to get ourselves lost in it. And I think being as a woman And I think there are some things, characteristics of women that are that nurturing, that softness that we carry, that Yahuah gave to us as women. That is a gift. And I don't want to, I love that about who I am. I love that he made me a woman. I wouldn't want to be a man, honestly. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Especially now.
We have some hand raised. Let's go to Linda and then Freda and Sophia. Linda?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I think I've lost the moment a little bit when you were talking, Tamara. Sister, you really expressed a lot of what I'm sensing in my own heart, in my own life. I've been a widow for 12 years. Yahuah has never been more important. Yahushua has never been a greater love than right now. And while, yes, I have days when I miss my husband. But it's like what has been expressed by Jeannie and by Donna and by you. We have a beautiful union and fellowship with our Creator now that could only have happened because it was design, could only have happened while we were alone. And it's unique and it's beautiful. Anyway, for expressing all those wonderful things. I love you, sisters.
We love you too, Linda. Freda?
You know how sometimes you have to share because your heart doesn't stop beating. That's what happened for me, and my heart's beating for like 15 minutes now, and it's like, just breathe. So I've been, I got married very young, and I've been single, I beat it all, 42 years. And I feel like that I've been walked down the aisle with my Abba, and he gave me to his son, Yahushua. So I'm married, I'm never alone, and I am constantly talking to Abba Father, going, talking about everything. So being single, I've said sometimes, well, Abba, if you bring somebody to me, I'll consider it. I'll look at it, and if that's your will for me, I will. But I never feel lonely, and I know I'm not alone. And here's something funny. I never have to worry about the toilet seat being up. So whatever. Man. So it's like I'm in a place for the first time in my life, and I'm on the Melchizedek path for, I don't know, just about 2 years. But I keep getting revelation after revelation, and it just keeps going deeper. And when Donna was speaking initially, I had like this visual of a jigsaw puzzle of 2 pieces of Adam and Eve. Adam came from the dust, but we came from the rib. So and the pieces fit, that those 2 puzzle pieces fit, click, went right into place. And so what man got, in my thinking, was he's the protector. But what we as women got wasn't that, because we don't want to take that job away, but we got everything else. Sure. And different things like that. Now, I've never had any children, 42 years of being single, and I believe that this is Abba's will for me now, and So I'm just really happy about it. And Abba and I laugh together all day, and I never do anything without first going, well, Abba, wait a minute. I want to make sure. Let me know what it is that you want me to do. And I've learned to ponder more and sit and wait for the answer. And I know that he answers me every time. He always tells me what to do. And I just feel so blessed. And tonight's been such a blessing that, you know, because we give each other strength. And one of the things that's been happening for me lately in this cray-cray world is getting triggered a lot. And I was, you know, just trying to deal with it. And I finally realized that if I feel a trigger happening, I send it to the pit where it belongs in Yahushua's mighty name. And that trigger, the enemy, you will not steal my peace that Abba has given me. And that has really been helping me very recently in everything that's going on. So I'm so glad I was able to come on tonight, because this has been really a big blessing. So thank you all. You're all so beautiful.
Thank you.
And we're the daughters of the King.
Greta, that's so encouraging to hear. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Amen. Thank you. And your hair's getting long. Look at that.
Well, now if I want to, it's, well, the gray, my crown of glory. And so I'm really, you know, hugging that big time. But then here's something funny. You know, now you got to, so my hair salon sent an email. We gotta wear a mask, and we gotta cover our nose, and we gotta do this. And I said, you know what? Okay, Lady Godiva, give me some chocolate, give me a horse, and I'm gonna let my hair keep growing for now.
Sophia.
Yes. I just wanted to just chime in and encourage all the sisters who've never been married and don't have physical children, or those who have husbands have passed on. And the word I want to say encourages that, you know, maybe more than I think you sisters have, especially the ones who've never been married and who are daughters and brides of Christ, you sisters have probably already had that heart of a wife. We're all his wife. We're all his bride. As a woman created, we are his bride. So whether it's physical, you still that bride. You're still required to be faithful. We're still required to be faithful. We're still required to keep up the communion with our husband, Yahushua. So just be encouraged. Physically, it may not have happened or ended early, but you're still a bride. You're still the bride of Yahushua. Your faithfulness is still required. Your communion with him is still required. And for women like me, I'll say for myself, I had to get married because he had to allow me to get married to understand what being a faithful bride is. And if it wasn't for me physically being married, it would have been hard for me to understand what I'm to be as his bride. So you ladies probably already have that. You have that heart of a bride. And maybe that's why he's like, you're my bride and you're good enough. And that's all I want. So just be.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Sophia. How long have you been married, Sophia?
It's been 6 years. 6 years.
Oh, praise be to Yahuah. Thank you. All right, Raquel.
So to go back to the book from Skip Moen, what is it, Guardian Angel?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I remember seeing, I think he did a 6 or 7 part series on it, and I remember watching it. And if I remember correctly, he uses that man is to cleave to, he's supposed to leave his parents and cleave to his wife.
I can hear you, Raquel.
I can't figure out what's going on with my sound. Can you hear me now?
No, it's better.
Okay. That man is supposed to leave his parents and cleave to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the scripture verses that Skip uses in Guardian Angel to kind of take you through the whole, like, who you are as a bride.
Yes.
And as also an encouragement for those of you who are single, your husband is being prepared for you at the same time that you're in preparation for your husband, like that we all are. But it kind of brought that back where it's a little bit of a reversal where, you know, sometimes I feel like society puts us into these categories that, you know, you were supposed to be married already, or you were supposed to bear children, or you were supposed to do, supposed to, and you weren't ever supposed to be divorced, and you weren't, you know, all of these titles and labels and things, you know, and for our sisters that are watching in Utah, you know, you weren't ever supposed to be in jail, and you weren't ever supposed to do these things, and somehow you're going to be less than when you get out. And these are just all these things that I feel like the enemy uses to put in our brain to make us feel less than and make us forget our authority and make us forget who we were created to be. And it's like right now it's just kind of hitting me, and this is the Holy Spirit, because I just feel like I'm rambling, but I know I'm not because I'm not talking. But he's being prepared for us just as we are being prepared for him. And
Yeah.
we are enough. Even with all of our imperfections, we are enough. His blood was shed for us because we are enough.
Amen.
And that,
Hallelujah.
whoa, hallelujah, we are enough. I feel like we all need to say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3, we are enough.
We are enough.
We're more than Yahuah is more than enough.
We are more than enough.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Raquel.
Amen.
Linda Demas?
Donna said something about a shadow. A shadow. Hold on, I wrote it down.
One of the words, yeah.
Yeah, the image, the likeness.
Image and likeness.
One of the words is shadow.
Right.
And I hear that word shadow and I think, under the shadow of the Almighty. I can see a hen covering her chicks. I could see a mother with her babies hiding in her skirt, you know, and it's just such a beautiful thing that the way that Yahuah loves us. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was really beautiful too. There's just so much symbolism in there,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes.
So, and I wanted also to tell you that that verse I was talking about was 2 Corinthians 3, 15 through 18. And that's what talks about the veil, how Moses wore the veil. I could read it if you want, but I don't want to take up more time than I need to. It says, but even to this day when Moses is read, a veil lies on his heart. Nevertheless, when one turns to Yahuah, the veil is taken away. Now, Yahuah is spirit, and where the spirit of Yahuah is, there is liberty. But we all with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of Yahuah, and being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of Yahuah. Now, I just think that says it all. Of course, I'm sorry, I'm reading out of the King James Bible, so I know it says Yahusha somewhere in there in the real reading. But I just wanted to share that with you because he takes us from glory to glory. And anyways, that's...
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Love you, sisters. Love you. Thank you, Donna, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Linda.
Yes. All right. Well, it's time to kind of wrap it up tonight. Just thank you so much, Donna, for everything. And we're going to have a part 2 next time that we meet together in 2 weeks. We are recording, so I will, I'll email it out to everybody so you can refresh your memory. And again, the book was called Guardian Angel by Skip Moen. So if you want to look that up, yeah, it would be, it is definitely something to look at. So let's go ahead and end in prayer. Would someone like to go ahead and close us out in prayer? I know Suzanne does because she's always smiling. Suzanne.
Oh, Abba Father, we come before your presence tonight as your daughters and with such gratitude in our hearts. Oh, Abba, we want to lift your name up high, and we want to exalt you, for you are, there is none like you, and you are worthy to be praised, Abba. Father, thank you that your presence is once again upon us tonight, sisters, and as again, what a blessing, what a gift to be able to be a part of this fellowship, to be able to sit at your table of presence and partake from the bread of life and be filled and satisfied. And Abba, once again, we are equipped and conformed and made fit to represent you, to be your Melchizedek ambassadors, Abba, for the world as we once again enter into the world. We are covered by your authority. We are covered by your love. Abba, I thank you that we can say as ladies tonight that we love you because you first loved us. Mm-hmm. Oh, Abba, I thank you for the hearts and the thoughts and the intent, the words that have been shared. Abba, thank you for being with Donna and for impressing this in her heart. What a timely message it is, Abba. Thank you for Tamara, for her ministry, and Abba, I thank you for Raquel and Linda and Sister Yusana and Linda, and there's so many, you know, everyone here, I should say. Every one of us has been a blessing to each and every soul tonight. So Father, I just trust that you will continue, Father, to have your grace, your favor, and your peace, your shalom be multiplied unto us in the knowledge of Yahuah and your son, Yahushua HaMashiach, our master. And we just want to commit the rest of tonight to you, Father, and we thank you in advance for a beautiful sleep that you're going to give us to restore us, to refresh us, and to make us ready yet again to meet your mercy once again tomorrow morning. Yeah. So Father, bless your set apart name, Abba. And in your son's name, we thank you. In Yahushua's mighty name we ask. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sister. What a blessing it is to always gather with all of you. So it's just such a joy. Thank you so much for all of your encouraging words. And you know, just one word from a sister could change the course of your life. And I know Yahuah's word, he transforms us. So, you know, that's amazing. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. Blessings to you all. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Good night. Blessings.
Oh,
Go, go.
Hallelujah.
Hello.
Shalom, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Good night,
Good night, everyone.